Hello everybody, and welcome to a new in a nutshell video. It's been a while since the last one, I'm sorry, but okay, and I have a Discord, as already mentioned quite a lot in every other video. I'll have a link to it in the description. So anyway, let's begin, and I will probably have a whole lot of the failed attempts at this video at the end, if this fails. Of course, it might fail, okay? So let's go. So, if nobody knows D-Day, and which was on the 6th of June 1944, was the Allied invasion of Germany France technically, by the UK, Canada, America and Poland. Poland helped, along with other Commonwealth nations from the UK these are the major nations. And they would be facing the Germans. I really don't know why I gave Germany a gun there. But anyway, let's continue. So basically, D-Day came around because of this. I'm going to reenact this. Okay? And Russia was like, okay, we need to invade Europe, but they're invading Russia too much. And everyone's like, okay. So they invaded Italy, which surrendered rather quickly. Then was taken over. Yeah, I mean, they were okay at fighting, but then Russia said, that did not work, because the Germans were still invading the east. They had sent some division down to help Italy, but they were still invading Russia. So Britain and America would decide to invade France, to invade Germany, because Germany occupied France. And they had to choose a landing ground. The most obvious places are the big pinnacle on the left side and Calais on the right side. But it was just the Allies who noticed this. It was the Germans as well. Because they had realised that, these are probably two places that they'd be invaded. There's tons of ports in both of them, and you really don't want, people invading your ports. So they built a whole lot of bunkers. They built two large arrays of bunkers near Calais and the point. I can't remember what it's called. There's a point there. They also built some smaller bunkers over there because, there's a small, minute chance the Allied invasion would come anywhere other than the super heavily fortified, overarmed, properly ship-infested ports. But the Allies also noticed this entire German plan. So, instead of going for the overly defended, and like most normal people, instead of going for the highly defended, super highly defended, like, this is probably too much defense, too defensive port, they would decide to go for the Normandy area of France, which is between the two ports. And they would. And you may be thinking, what would happen if the Germans were to figure out about this plan? Because you need a whole lot of troops to invade France. Somewhere around 400,000. So, and this is the least forgotten part, but the UK played a bigger role in it than just helping with the invasion. They also used MI6, the famous British spy agency, to switch around some German records so that they and basically get German spies to change sides. So that they would say that the invasion was going to come, in Calais, which is where they were. They also set up a whole lot of dummy armies around there, which was very convincing. There was even actually an interview with King George VI. He was what he won over, and they drafted every troops. He thought that he made the blow up tanks look real and the plywood aircraft. No, that was actually the idea, just balloon tank. You don't want a balloon animal? Balloon tank. It works. And that plan went rather well. And if you know anything about history, or World War II of Germany, or German naval power, they had a whole lot of ships from that era. Two battleships and one heavy cruiser were stationed France. But Hitler had thought that he wouldn't need them because the Allies wouldn't dare invade the heavily fortified France, right? So he sent them all the way up to Sweden and Norway because for some reason the Allies clearly want Norway to cut off oil supply. Yeah, that was basically the entire thing. They sent them ships through the channel, straight out, which was the first time the channel was translated in 300 years by an enemy force of Britain. And then, but that didn't go well, called Operation Cerberus. It was a earlier guide, I'll probably leave a link to that somewhere. And then, I seriously don't know why I did it either, but as well. I seriously don't know why I did it, but yeah. I also have my own country war, so I'm happy with that. And anyway, the Allied force consisted of 156,000 soldiers, 156,000 soldiers, and 195,700 naval personnel, mainly from the Royal and US Navies. I think the Canadian Navy has also joined in, but yeah. I don't have a American naval license, so I just do the Royal Navy there in a dreadnought. I seriously don't know why. But anyway, the 5 landing beaches were called Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juno, and Sword. Utah and Omaha were the American landing beaches. Gold and Sword were the British landing beaches, also including all the Commonwealth and all the other nations, like Poland and I'm not sure about Czechoslovakia. But anyway, so yeah. And then Canadians at Juno, which, I mean, it worked. It worked really well. And after this, the Allies would decide to go from the Normandy beaches down to Caen. I think it's spelled Can. I think it's said Can. And then they went off to invade Paris. And this was the major turning point in the war. Russia was getting less attention now, so they reverse blitzkrieg straight back to Germany, and the Allies were pushing for Western France. But we best not forget the 10,000 Allied casualties, which includes injured. It's got a bit confusing, but casualties can include injured and dead. But 4,414 confirmed deaths, along with 185 Shermans, which were pretty common, and the Germans themselves had 4,000 to 9,000 casualties. But anyway, and I think the best way to end this, other than the normal end credits, and of course you can actually like, subscribe, and ring the bell button and all that stuff, but I think the best way is from the famous poem. I can never remember the poem. Okay, I'm just gonna play the poem. Play. Okay, everyone, I was actually gonna try and fiddle with all the clips and stuff, but anyway, I'm just gonna say the famous words. When the sun goes down, we shall remember them.